So I'm here with Reverends Melissa and Z, who are ministers with Centers for Spiritual Living. Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
We are very happy to be here with you.
Indeed.
Thank you. I'm so glad that you're here. So this is part of our Uncommon Conversations series. And it's part of an effort to have these really simple but deep conversations with spiritual leaders that are doing, I would say, really amazing things out there. And well, you're always on the list at Namaste as far as doing amazing things. So part of the conversation that we get to have today, which a lot of folks are very, very interested in, is your oh my God life.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. So could you just tell me a little bit about how that came to be, the Oh My God Life production?
I will start if I can.
Okay.
So
you go for it.
Back in the day, years and years and years ago, when I was in foundations class
At a Centers for Spiritual Living.
At a Centers for Spiritual Living in Marin County, California. And I was really struggling to figure out how to get myself to feel internally the mental equivalent of what I was claiming when it wasn't here yet, that thing, right? To get myself in the vibration and realizing I can't even imagine this. And then realizing, because I had enough of foundations already, that, well, if I can't even imagine it, I'm not going to be pulling that. I'm not going to be attracting that and lining up with that and all if I can't even imagine it, right? So I need to be able to imagine it. So how do I do that? And I decided, because I am so auditory, my whole experience of the world is what I hear. Pretty much. I mean, visual too, but really auditory.
As a musician.
As a musician,
singer
right.
and a musician.
It's just really, really strongly my way. And so I knew that when I was gonna be there, when I was at a place where that thing I was claiming, whatever it was a reality in my life, one of the ways that I would know is by what I say to myself, what I hear myself say when I am in the experience of, oh my God, was what I decided was that's what I say when I'm blown away happy. Right?
Yeah.
So when we're blown away happy, that's what we call your magic phrase, right? Because everybody has one when they are thinking about someone and then the phone rings and it's that person and they go, oh my God, or whatever they say.
And some people's are more colorful than others. That's because we've developed a whole practice around this. When we teach the workshop, we say, we understand that some of you might have a very colorful phrase for when you're excited.
That you feel like you maybe can't say out loud in church.
Exactly. But ours is, my God.
But for both of us, it's, oh my God. So I started using that as a way in my practice. I would go into my, I'd say step 1, step 2 of prayer. I would get to step 3 and say, oh my God, I'm so grateful that blah, blah, blah is like such and such. Oh my God, because that would, and I found that it pretty much could like instantaneously take me to the feeling point that I was trying to access in other ways that weren't working. So when it came time to name our ministry.
Yes.
I think Z actually came up with naming the ministry.
Yeah, we were trying to find a name that worked for us because we were both studying to be ministers at Holmes Institute School of Consciousness Studies. And we knew that we didn't want to do a brick and mortar center or a church or spiritual center, anything like that. We're both musicians and creatives, and we were already starting to perform and do some speaking at different places and offering some retreats and workshops and like that. And so we realized we are called to do something a little outside the box. We now say it's an online and traveling ministry. And so that was part of it, is how do we describe this thing that's shaping and morphing and forming through us, and
what we're talking about, like what's the common thread of all of what we're doing? It's living a life that is like an oh my God life.
And our spiritual keyword, the key word for us is joy, of all, peace, freedom, intelligence, wisdom. There's a lot of words you could use as spiritual keywords, but for us, joy is a big one. And so, oh my God, holds that as well. And I often get really great ideas when I'm first waking up, right? Because it's like I'm a little more open to information that's just not in my little brain. And that's when I was, oh my God. And we were working with someone to develop our website, and someone who'd done a lot of marketing. And she said, it shouldn't just be, oh my God, you got to have something else. So she's the one who put life in there. Oh my God, life. And lo and behold, ohmygodlife.com was available. So that's now our website. That's our virtual
That's our
home.
everything.
You're talking about like that moment when, oh my God, kind of, reaches the point of sound.
Yes.
Is there sort of a level that deserves that, oh my God, or at what point, you know what I mean? Like, for example, is it a little thing, or is it kind of a medium thing, or is it a big thing, or is it just any?
You mean the thing I'm claiming?
Yeah.
Or how big I say it?
Well, so for example, when I hear you claiming something, you feel something's popped into you, something's happening for you, correct? It sounds like it's almost a measurement of aha. Or is it, you're talking about when you're wanting to manifest, you say, oh my God, life.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's more like that. Like when I am wanting a new car, let's say, and I can't imagine having the car I would want because it's too much. And it does go to, you said deserve. So it does go to a deservingness, of course, right?
Okay.
And the tricky thing about, oh my God, is that, and this is one of the things that we always say in our own prayers and in our practices, it's beyond my wildest dreams. It's better than I could have imagined, right? So that's like two of our secret phrases that we use that also aid in the emotional stirrings to create the feelings we want, to call in the experience that it, especially if we're not able to just call in the experience. We can't imagine having it. It will help us get there to imagining we have it. And one of the kind of things about that, I was going to say challenges, but I guess it is a challenge for a minute. Usually when the said item manifests, is that it usually, for me, in my experience, I think it's the same for Z, it is overwhelming because I have opened to something that is beyond my wildest dreams, better than I could even imagine. So there's usually this period of like, I have to take deep breaths and know that I deserve this much good.
So when you teach this, so when you're teaching the tools that you teach for Oh My God Life, do you ask people to find their own expression for it?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Their magic phrase.
Yes. Find their
That's
phrase.
what is the thing that you spontaneously say when something amazing and good happens? It's often what you would say if something bad.
It can be.
It's like you're surprised.
Okay.
Right.
And also it can be, so when you ask about, is it big things or little things, it can be both, Yeah. And a lot of times, especially when people are just starting to learn about this whole consciousness is creative, and I can, co-create with spirit, divine life energy. Whoa. And often it is better to start with smaller things. I mean, a classic thing is the parking place, right? Yeah. Oh my God, I got the best parking place. But that too, like, it's better than I could imagine, the best parking place. You're not even saying where that is necessarily, right? That idea of keeping it open-ended is definitely part of manifestation work, and it's definitely part of what we're talking about with this.
It's a core thing for both of us, is that the aspect of co-creating and surrendering, so that spirit can make it better than we can imagine, because spirit always has something better in mind.
Way better.
Right?
The deeper I get into manifestation work, which is this idea that I am taking responsibility for my consciousness, and I am recognizing that my consciousness affects my experience of life. And the deeper I get into that, the more I'm just surrendering to spirit, right? To just say, spirit knows way better than I do. And I'm actively participating in the co-creation process, and those can sound like diametrically opposed, mutually exclusive prospects, but they're not.
We were on a walk and we were talking about this very thing, the paradox of creating consciously and surrendering. And I came up with this phrase that I love called, what was it? Creating fate.
Creating your fate.
Creating your fate. So it's like, by being aware of my energy, staying in gratitude as much possible, a positive attitude, looking for the good in things, even if they're harder to find the good and things like that.
Right.
That's me being responsible to manage my energy so that the universe, spirit, whatever you call that, can find me with the good. Because if I'm busy complaining and criticizing, which I can do, I can go there. I try not to, but the good thing about, a partner who will bust you is, well, it's kind of good. It's not always good, but
It's not always
it
fun.
is always good, but I don't always like it. But is to help each other kind of stay up, right? And not bypass, not ignore feelings of grief or sadness or whatever,
Right.
anger.
Right.
It's not to do that, but it is being aware of the vibration that I'm living in is co-creating. That's me saying to spirit, this is my, I'm a magnet. What you got that matches this? And if I want to have a better experience, then I gotta raise my vibe.
Yeah. And one thing I just thought of when you were talking is that, so if my vibration is one of, I trust the divine, I trust the universe, I trust spirit, I'm surrendering to that. Well, that's a really cool vibe. And that's going to attract a lot of really cool stuff, right? So that's kind of it right there of why that surrendering thing paradoxically then is also me creating this incredible life.
Yeah.
We have developed something called the Oh My God practice. And it's actually a 3-part practice. And the first part is we find gratitude for things that people might call problems. We like the idea of reframing them as projects, not problems. But the idea is to be real, keeping it real about there's things in our life that can feel challenging, right? And so the lens through which, the way through which we go to the Oh My God practice is gratitude. So we're finding gratitude for, first of all, things that we're calling projects, right? And so for some people, when they're finding gratitude, they might use the phrase, oh my God, but that's the idea, is you find the phrase that works for you. And honestly, for some people, it's not going to be as effusive as, oh my God. It might be like, cool. Or like, I'm just feeling really good about this. I'm just really happy and grateful, it can be whatever it is, but it's that idea of, often it can be really nice to have that phrase because it encapsulates the emotion in a way.
Yes.
So the first part is finding it for the projects. The next part is finding it for,
which can be the hardest for people. I mean, it is even for us. It's sometimes if you're feeling like, there's this thing going on and,
it's difficult.
It's really, you can't, like, nothing's good about this, right? What do you mean what's good about this? And we always, when we teach the workshop with groups, we always take a few, because there's always someone who says to themselves, there is nothing here for me.
We
That's
take a few as an
positive,
example,
right? And then we always riff on it, like, so how this started is I was in really tough, when Z and I first got together, I was in a very tough financial experience and situation. And but Z and I both are very into Abraham Hicks.
Mm-hmm.
And Abraham talks about finding the positive in the face of, in the midst of everything. And Z said, before we start our regular practice, we already were doing a regular gratitude practice.
Yeah.
I think you, Z said, need to tell me 5 things you're grateful for about this about this very situation you're in financially. And at first I really was like, there's nothing, it's awful. And I was really in a toxic place around it. And very quickly, as I started to say, well, I'm being forced to learn to manage my funds. I'm being forced, because my income is so small right now, to really learn to budget and stick to a budget in a way I never, ever have had to learn. And there were other things like that
just started
I didn't
coming
think
more
about.
and more.
And then I started, and it changed so fast for me as a result. I mean, the experience, I all of a sudden had all these clients and all this, it was like money started pouring in. And Z was like, boy, I think I'm
going to start doing that. Yeah.
So that's how it became a part of our practice.
Because first we had the regular gratitude practice. So now how it looks is part one, because we like to kind of, we say, you eat your vegetables first, right? So it's kind of like we do the vegetables, the oh my God projects, and then we do oh my God presents, which is gratitude in the present. And so both of these are present time. But then we move on to oh my God possibilities. And so part three is we are going to speak about things that we are bringing into our lives, but they're not here yet. So we're going to speak in the future as if it's true now, right? So that's when we might do, let's say it's the category of finances, because for example, you can have something in your projects, the part one and the projects, that you can also put in part three in the possibilities, right? Different way of working with it. But you might say, oh my God, I am just so grateful for all the changes that have happened in my finances in the last year. It's so amazing. Like, I'm a totally different person, how I think about it. And then so many things in my life have changed, and there's so much more money coming in now, but I don't even think about it or worry about it. Like, and I'm automatically attracting people who it's mutually beneficial for both of us to have these financial exchanges. It's just incredible. And you can have that, not just now, I did 1 year in advance. You can do 1 week in advance. We'll do, oh my God, possibilities about something that we have coming. That
we do it often on the way to a Sunday morning service or a workshop. We'll say, oh my God, that was such a great morning. We had such a great time. I just felt really surrendered to Spirit. It felt like Spirit was talking through me and singing through me. And we do that.
So one of the things I noticed was this about judging others' experience right now in, it looked like the political arena, and just even dealing with COVID and everything that's happening right now. And how is what you do, some of the tools you do, talk about how that's supporting people right now in such a really interesting time.
Well, I know one of the things that we are about is, a lot of times in spirituality, there's this idea that to be spiritual, you can't have any quote unquote negative or uncomfortable feelings, that you have to act as if you're happy all the time and all that kind of stuff. And so,
or else what's wrong with your consciousness?
Right. Namaste. And so you get these people who are like, namaste. Namaste is the name of the center. But that idea of kind of keeping it real. And when you do keep it real with how you're doing emotionally, for one thing, emotions move through us very quickly when we're real about them. And second of all, then things can be transformed if you're honest, right? And so I know that there's been a lot of difficult stuff for a lot of people with
this year, with 2020,
the pandemic and the political climate in the United States, for example. And then, of course, people individually being impacted by that or other things, right? And so that's always one place that we start. We start out with this idea that keeping it real, being authentic, that's what we need to bring to our spiritual practice.
Yes. And so in regards, I think that it is the letter that I received that you're referring to is the one where somebody was having real challenges in dealing with their family who was of a different political affiliation, thank you, than they. And they were really having a hard time with that and feeling unspiritual or unsuccessful as a spiritual being, or whatever you would say, judging themselves because it was upsetting to them to be with their family and to feel these feelings about their family. And I have family members, boy howdy, that are like, wow, you're over there on the spectrum of political. I mean, it's like
very different,
you know. And so one of the things I said to them, which is a thing that Z and I are constantly dealing with, is this balance between having a conversation, being willing to love people who are different than us, right? And so in the process, if we need to be with those people that are so different that it's challenging for us to stay in love as much as possible. And one way to do that is to actually get curious and ask them like questions without it being like, why do you believe this stupid thing? But like, how did you get to that?
Question.
Yeah, that's always
great.
a good place
That's
to
a
start.
great place to start.
It's so encouraging and
inviting.
Yes, exactly. I know I feel safe to share.
Yeah,
if you ask that
absolutely.
question. But But it's that actually staying curious, like actually cultivating curiosity in ourselves. That's true curiosity. That can be very hard for me, but I can, if I'm aware of it, be at least better at it. And then the other thing that's like, it's that paradox thing again, right? It's both. And the other side that both Z and I are very committed to, because we are so committed to our internal vibration, our experience, we also are very particular about who we spend time with.
Yeah.
And so I have not a lot, I have a few family members who I avoid. I do. I don't never talk to them. I haven't cut anybody out of my life or like that, but I have people that I do my best to remain kind with as little time engaging or being with them as possible, because over the years I've gotten more and more aware that when I hang out with people, I always check how I feel after I've been with people, right? So if I walk away from a conversation and I feel uplifted, that's great. And I don't mean I don't mean like sometimes people have a hard time, they're not my friend anymore. I don't mean that. I mean, like, there are people who I used to be friends with, and maybe at the time that was very appropriate. And now when I see them or for any length of time, I walk away, I just feel like I got thrown up on or something. It just feels toxic. Yeah. And bad.
And one of the things I like about this just awareness of how do I feel when I'm being with certain people is it's not a bad, good, better than kind of thing. It's like they very well are having the same experience like that. That's just not a fit for me. That's not a mesh. We're not like compatible. And so it's just about how do we feel when we're with certain people, and it's not saying I'm better than you or I'm worse than you.
Right.
Either,
right.
It's just about
not
meshing. And the beauty of family members is it is different than friends. Like there's certain people that we chose on a soul level or however you want to see it, that they are in our lives. And so there are folks like that who, even if we wouldn't choose to hang with them, we do find ourselves hanging with them every now and then. And what a great, as Melissa used to say, it's like a free workshop, right? So that's a great time to use our spiritual tools and spiritual practice
we pay thousands of dollars to go and be told what area to work on in our life. You just go spend a couple days with family,
or 1 hour.
There it is. There's my,
there's
my weak spot.
It's like an experiential.
Yeah, yes. Exactly. Free workshop.
For free.
And so it's a great time to use those spiritual tools of compassion and non-attachment and just observe, just watch what happens. And
what tool makes the biggest impact? Which product or which part of what you teach should people start with? What's the place they should go?
I would say the music.
Okay.
It seems like people, just because for me, music can take me somewhere the fastest. But you were going to say something.
And I would say, because there's two of us, the videos. Because the videos that we do.
But they have music in
the
it.
music, yes, they have music in them.
Well, see, there's a bigger answer to that.
Yeah. Yeah. So because I know we have a whole library of different playlists now, because we do a lot of different things. We have guided meditations. We have what we call prayer weaves, which are affirmative prayer with music. We have something called joy jams, which are short little messages with music. And it seems to like that's a good way in, because you get to know us, you get to know who we are, you get to know a little bit about how we approach the world. And then we also have on the website, we each have a blog. There's cartoon memes that you can actually get Monday through Friday in your inbox. We have classes.
We have a book. We're about to have a second book.
We have a book.
Our Oh My God practice book is coming out next year.
Oh, that sounds really good.
When COVID is ending.
Yes.
And then we have the Everyday Joy book that is already, it's the 365 memes and paragraphs and affirmation, one for each day.
Right.
Because Z's a great little cartoonist.
Oh, thank you.
Does these wonderful little memes that are, all over our website and on Facebook and,
and it all has like the commonality of message. But I say, if you start with videos, you're getting to know us.
And you're hearing the music. See,
and there's music. So yes, you were right.